Well, it's happening. I didn't want to do it, but I don't have a choice. I'm taking a break from long form content. Yeah, I know. I dropped the fall update with all these different things that I wanted to do, and you'll get them. But things are happening, okay? Hold on. Let's back up for a second. For anybody who's starting here, hello, I'm a duck. I like art and creativity, and whenever I find new things to talk about, I can't help but draw something related. That's usually what ends up on the channel, and that's how we got here. Now that we're all caught up, let's get to the questions. How long is the break? Probably at the most a month. So I have a lot of different things that I wanted to get done in the fall, and we're going to have to put those off. But we're not going any further than a month. There's not too much really that's going to stop me. I'm still going to be posting shorts. It's no big deal. But when it comes to long form, I've got to take a step back, and it kind of is what it is. That brings us to our next question, though, because that was a very simple one. Why am I taking a break? And it's a few things, so we'll go through them real fast. But the number one thing, it's Christmas in white and blue. Most of you that have kept up know that Christmas in white and blue is my holiday story that I've been working on, and it's not this huge thing, but to me it's big. To me it's like, grandiose, because it's a story. It's my story. It's something that I really want to make and present in a certain way. And, I've been trying to keep things on schedule, but I legitimately think that this will be the best move for the story. You got to understand, like, I really want to create this and produce this the right way. It's very important to me. But, we'll move on to that. Just know that Christmas in white and blue is still coming. It's still happening in December, but it's the main reason, or it's one of the main reasons why I have to take this break that I didn't really want to take, but I just don't have much of a choice. I want this to be at a certain level. So, number two, the videos are getting more elaborate. not just the videos, the art, okay? I have a few ideas that have spiraled into bigger ideas that I planned, like Creature Feature Part 2. That was supposed to be just like a single kind of piece, but it moved up to experiment level. And yes, I have levels for my art because I'm a planner when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I don't know. I need to plan them to initially decide how big they're going to be. But a lot of times these things blow up. they become whatever, they take a life of their own. And you know what? For reference, let's go through the levels real quick, just so you guys have an understanding of like a perspective of where I'm at mentally, right? So we'll start with a study. A study is, of course, like a multi-sketch attempt to deepen my understanding of things. And you guys have seen plenty of that on the channel. Think the lip study, the eye studies, like all of that stuff. Nose, even the neck study. Yes, don't play now. The neck study was important. Then we move on to like a single piece of art, which is, it's just an art single. It's a single thing of me showcasing whatever I have or whatever I've learned at the moment, whatever it is, whatever skill that I'm utilizing. It's just that. The examples of that are like Scarlet, Wonder, and most recently Gleam. And so then we have like the experiment level, which you guys have seen plenty of. The experiment like is built to shape and display a certain vibe. Those examples are pretty much Chill Light, Spider-Verse, and even though it's titled as a study, this also includes Wasteland, because that was what Wasteland was. It was built to display like the feeling of wastelands, or just destroyed beauty in different ways and shapes and forms. So now that we've done that, the question of where does Christmas in white and blue fit into this kind of pops up. Nowhere. It don't fit into none of them because it's not any of that stuff. It's a story. And a story is the next level of art for me. It is the combination of all of these different things. That's why this takes so much care. Like I need to put a lot of work in. My point in talking about all this, though, is that Creature Feature blew up and that threw everything off for me. It's not just that, but it's more things. But Creature Feature did blow up, like, for me. And I'm not talking about the video or anything. I'm not talking about that. I'll get more into a little bit of that later. But I'm not talking about the video. I'm speaking about specifically the idea of Creature Feature. It has went from just a single art piece. Creature Feature Part 2 made it a little bit more than just a single art piece. And then suddenly, while I was doing the character creation and like all of that, I started to be like, oh, well, this street and then this building and then blah, blah, blah. And I had a whole second part to Creature Feature Part 2 where I was going to talk about the background and creating stuff and all that. And now I can't put that out because the idea exploded. I mean, I probably could. I can probably compile it. The question is, do I want to do that before Halloween? Because there's no point in putting it out unless it is the Halloween season. And if it's not ready, it's not going out. Plain and simple. So I don't know. We're gonna see what happens with that. But yeah, it grew, and I want to do it justice. The best way to do that is to start by making sure that I do Christmas in White and Blue right, because I say this all the time. I learn from failure. So I'm going to put out Christmas in White and Blue, and the idea is that I'm going to fail at something in this, and that's going to help me learn, okay, what do I do better next time, or what do I build a framework for, or whatever. And so depending on how Christmas in White and Blue does, Creature Feature itself growing into either an experiment, right now it's an experiment, or if it becomes a story all in its own, we'll see what happens with that later. Anyway, we'll move on to reason number 3, which is I'm getting busy. Like, I'm getting really busy. Surprise, Sofa isn't just doing art on the internet. I've been vocal about the fact that I don't have the following to get paid via social media, like be an influencer or whatever. And to be honest, that's okay, because I didn't want to do all that. I mean, if it comes, then I guess whatever, but I'm not really in the market to do that. I'm more interested in having commissions, because that's what I got right now. I got a good bit of them, not a whole lot. It's not like too many, but they kind of keep rolling in, and that's not a bad thing for me because that's what I wanted. I got to make sure these things get done on time. So if they're coming in, I got to make sure that I'm responding and hitting milestones and stuff. And then I've got Christmas in White and Blue. So if I've got those things happening, something else has got to give. It's not a bad thing. And if anything, I want more commissions, because, hey, I like being able to just dive into a new art piece, explore some creativity, and pop out something that a client likes. It's fun. But yeah, so if y'all are interested, go ahead and hit up that email or message me somehow, and then I'll direct you to the email, because I like having records of the stuff that I do. So yeah, it is what it is, man. Number 4, I do have a life outside of art. I know it's hard to believe the duck on the internet has a life outside of art. I don't act like it, do I? Yeah, okay. But look, very simple. I have other responsibilities that I have to make sure I'm participating in, and I'm leaning into. Swan, she is my beautiful wife, and there are times where I need to make sure I cater to her. We got to spend time together. I don't want to lose any of that. So the art's going to take a second. It's got its place. It's important to my life. But so is she. So sometimes that art gonna have to take a step back now. It is what it is. And then of course, I've got Baba the Frog. If you guys haven't pieced it together, Swan is my wife, and I call her Swan because I represent her as a beautiful blue swan. And Baba is the frog, but she is clearly my dog. Yeah, because Sofa masquerades as a human throughout his regular everyday life. No one has to know his secret identity as being a duck. So yeah, it's just work-life balance, it's just that kind of thing. But because I'm putting so much work into Christmas in White and Blue, I just need to make sure that I'm doing my due diligence. I want to make sure it's done. I want to make sure it's done right. So, going forward, let's talk about what you guys are going to see. Obviously, Christmas in White and Blue is happening in December, but as far as from now till then, I'm still working on some shorter spooky season videos. Those should already be coming out, or already out. I don't know. The plan is to probably have this on Sunday. That'll be November 1st. So, yeah, spooky season will be done. That means these videos should already be going. And if this pops out sooner, then it pops out sooner. It is what it is. I have a lot of work already put in for these videos, so it makes sense. Like, I don't see a point in waiting to release them, because then it'll just be outside of the spooky season window, and it just feels weird. There is a video coming later in November that's specifically catered towards fall that I'm absolutely going to be putting out. That is the Redux video. For people who don't know what the Redux is, don't worry about it. Look at the fall update. Wait for the video. You'll figure it out. That might be later in the month, but I'm not 100% sure because the schedule is all broken now that I'm about to take this break. Because I'm really just going to grind on the videos I feel like need to come out. And then I'm going to grind on Christmas in White and Blue. And those are the two important things that are really going to be happening. Oh, and of course, commissions. The hair study will be delayed till next year, which is painful to say, but at this point, it will take too long. Like, I have to go through refining the process. You guys know I like to revisit doing a study. So I've already done half of the hair study technically, but I want to go back and I want to do the revisit. I want to do the drill. I also want to showcase some aspects of the hair study that are personal to me. That, not everybody's going to be able to do that same thing, that part of the study, but I want to explain it so people can kind of make their own step there. But either way, there's that. Then Dead Rising, as fun as those videos have been, it will be picked up next year as well. Full disclosure, I've already recorded the gameplay for that, so whether I succeed or gave up and hid my face from the gaming community forever has already been decided. You're getting a follow-up episode for that, so don't worry. You're getting some more Dead Rising, just not now. It'll have to be next year. The DTIYS video is delayed. Then there was the little surprise that I mentioned in the fall update. It was a food study that's also going to be delayed. I'm supposed to work in tandem with Thanksgiving for that, but it just didn't. It wasn't going to work out. If it still does, then I'll pop it out there and be like, "Hey, surprise! I lied to you." But I want to prepare you guys for not getting a bunch of these videos. I think there's more that I plan to do to make a bunch of these things well-rounded, so I'm just not going to rush them. That's the thing. I don't want to rush them just to hit a milestone or whatever. Like I put out this video, whatever. No, like I want it to be good. I want it to be a fun experiment in creativity. And rushing things out just so I put something out like every month or whatever, so I can be like, "Hey guys, I did this," and like, what does it matter? where is that gonna come from? So I'm not gonna rush any of this stuff. I'm building things that I like to build. So yeah, there are a lot of things going on, but I do have one huge reason to take a break right now that I haven't mentioned, and it's because I think I've hit the holiday flow state early. People that have been here since last year and, or have been with me like since the last year and a half or been following on IG for longer or whatever, you guys know that when the duck goes green, everything changes because the inspiration is hitting hard. For whatever reason, the holidays really invoke this, and I am just subservient to it. Like I just do whatever I feel is right at that point. That's actually how Christmas in White and Blue even came up in the first place. And so I don't have much of a choice but just do whatever it is. So right now I'm feeling that. If you guys look, the duck should already be green on everything. Was a ghost for spooky season. At this point, the duck should be green everywhere because it's a wrap. I'm here. I'm feeling every bit of the creativity that is locked into the holiday season. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to be like real candid with you guys. I don't know what's in the background. Maybe I sketched up something and threw it back here, or maybe I grabbed an old thing or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, that's what's going down all the way up until December. It's going to slow down a little bit. And again, for the record, shorts, reels, TikToks, those are all still coming. But the long form, sorry guys, we taking a break. With that being said, I'll see you soon.